Hi and welcome to the second episode in this Planetary Series. So this episode is focused completely on the energies, the archetypal energies of Pluto. Now Pluto comes from the Greek Plutos, meaning god of wealth, of riches, of like treasures and gems from the earth, but it is also at the other end of the polarity about going into the depths, going into your netherworld, going into the crypt of your being in a sense, to see what's beneath the surface or to see what are deeply ingrained conditionings or to see what beliefs are held that are attracting certain experiences into your life. So whilst Pluto is to do with overflowing, the root of the word Plutos is in the word meaning to flow. The Proto-Indo-European root is to flow. But it is also this descent, this excavation in order to come into your expression where you can flow and move and express without attracting any unwanted energies, because you've done the labor, you've done the work of excavating anything that needs to be transformed, or rather you've opened to surrender, to see what's beneath in your underworld, to see, any past pains or traumas that might be held in the physical body. This is what Pluto is asking. It's like saying, please go into your crypt of being and see what are in the bones of your being, in a sense. There is this quality of darkness, but in a very beautiful way that the light and the flow is born out of it. So the darkness is never anything to be scared of. The darkness is in fact the place out of which the flow and the light and the luminosity is born out of. In ancient Chinese, Pluto is known as the obscure king. So this is about like the dim parts of your masculine aspect that are asking to be outed. What's beneath the surface? What kind of structure and discipline might you be denying in your practice or the way that you're moving through the world that would help support your feminine expression? Because in order to birth things into being, we need to hold ourselves in this very stable way with our masculine aspect. And sometimes this really means riding through discomfort. Sometimes it means expanding and radiating, and this feels uncomfortable. Sometimes it means sitting down and getting to work, like really disciplining ourselves, like again and again I get up and I sit down to this project because I'm holding this higher vision. So Pluto is very much to do with this. It's about pulling the masculine aspect of your soul to meet the feminine aspect of your soul, so that you're dancing in this very balanced way. It's like, how can I hold myself with the stability of like the strongest, oldest, most ancient tree, so that my feminine wildness is held in this frame of my being? And so the obscure king, it's like, are there any masculine bits of your being that are asking to come out and be shown? Because there is very much a large focus on feminine expression and authenticity and wildness and acknowledging our sexuality and sensuality and really indulging in pleasure. But this really needs to be balanced with the disciplinary, the beautiful disciplinary masculine. And so the pure masculine is like very focused. It's like a tunnel vision. It's like when you receive an idea, the masculine is saying, please can you implement your intent, your will, your structure. I see it like a sun at your navel center, at the navel center. And this is the light. It's like almost like your masculine heat that's like driven and focused, and it's like, I will not rest until I execute this thing that I'm creating and gestating. And this requires a sitting down. It really does. We really have to implement and create structure. So if we step outside of kind of rigid structured ways of working, then we have to create our own structures to hold our own being, to hold our own work, to hold our own projects within. And Pluto asks for this, really. It's asking for the obscurities of your masculine aspect to come out, to be radiating, for you to be shining your light, for you to create these structures, for you to shine unapologetically, and for you to sit down and to sit down and to sit down and to really know the importance of the discipline and the focus. Because whenever we're focused in one particular direction, it like sends all the energy there. It's like creating this beautiful channel that sends all the energy and the light there. And in that way, it can only grow. It's like going, this is my point of intention and I'm holding it high and there. I'm holding my vision high and there. And when you hold your vision high and there and you align all of your movements around this intentionality, then something really beautiful grows. And I'm now just receiving this message from the eagle, what I call the eagle of liberty. So this really beautiful vision of like, widely spread wings, but also this sense of like when you plant your seeds, you don't always see the fruition and the realization of those seeds immediately. In fact, we have to build things. It doesn't just happen in an instant. We have to be uncompromisingly committed to whatever it is that we are intending to create. And this focus, this vision, this tunnel, if you like, this canal of light that you craft through your structure and discipline brings things into being. It's like locking it in from the quantum field. It's like saying, this is what I'm creating. I'm certain, I'm sure, because the pure divine masculine is unwavering, is completely decisive, is absolutely certain. And with this beautiful certainty comes such magical realizations in your manifest reality and experience. Because, there's no swinging. If you're moving from point to point to point about what it is that you intend, then the locking in can't occur, and it is the resoluteness that creates the magic. It's like saying this, and then I bring that from the quantum field of all possibilities, all my possibilities, into this time-space reality as a locked-in realized potential. So Pluto is like chief, it's ringleader, it's like captain of your ship. You are the captain of your ship. This is really the quality of Pluto. And also comes with this beautiful message of like, you save yourself. So Pluto comes with this message of like, whilst we all heal through relationships, of course, like this is the most beautiful way to heal. There are two paths on the path of awakening, and there is the masculine path and the feminine path. And the masculine path can be like solitude. It looks like solitude and perhaps long seated meditations in isolation maybe, or in remote places. It's like rigid, structured, sit down, static. And then there's the feminine path of awakening, which is fluid, it's sociable, it's interacting, it's healing through relationships. It's observing all the reflections back and seeing like, how can I adjust, and what am I attracting, and what beliefs are being shown to me through my experiential reality. And just checking in with those beliefs all the time. It's a kind of process of radical honesty and observation. Get really intimate without judgment about what you're attracting, so that you can start to transform, or open to be transformed, and allow old beliefs to shift and alchemize into new, positive, healthy, truthful beliefs that are in alignment with your soul and your true knowing of why you're here and what you're here to experience. But this really never occurs without a descent into the depths of your being. Like, you cannot rise into your life without going into the muddiness of like past conditionings and childhood wounds, and really coming to this place of compassion, viewing, your upbringing, because sometimes the upbringing could appear almost like through rose-tinted glasses to be somewhat idyllic, or at least peaceful. But there can be some obscurity away from looking, or some protection almost against our parents to look at the way that they were not meeting our needs. So this is also Plutonian. It's like going, really look at how you were raised, and, find a way to supportedly and safely go into this place, or the places of your wounds, in order for them to start to be healed. With the conscious light of your attention, then you can start to be the salve to your own wounds. And it's like placing a balm, an energetic balm on your physical and energetic body at the places that need it, and into the beliefs that need to shift in order for you to experience your reality differently. So I find it always a really positive question to ask, like, how was I parented? And you can do it for both parents. Like, how was I mothered? How did it feel to be mothered in that way? And what did I actually need? And you can do that as well with your father. And then you can start to give yourself the love and affection that you needed. Like, reparent yourself in this way. Give yourself what you needed when you were a child and you didn't get. And knowing that it wasn't because you didn't deserve to be loved in that way that you needed, but it was just because of ancestral patterns passed down, and because your parents inherited wounds from their parents. And now we have this conscious awareness where we can change the patterns, and we're here to break those ancestral patterns of negativity and wounding. So it's actually for the greatest good, to really shine a light into the way that we were raised, and to give our parents the most compassion that we can, and just see it through a rather neutral and objective lens. so that we can heal and start changing patterns, and then we don't have to pass those wounds down. Pluto also comes with this message about relationship alchemy, and this is really like a commentary, or rather a place to investigate, where it's like observing our dynamics within relationships. And in order to come into your divine expression, your pure divinity, there can be no control dynamics at all in relationships. And, you know, that said, we are healing all the time through relationships. But in order to be fully allowing of energy to flow, there can be no control between people. You know, to be in a sovereignly loving relationship means to accept somebody exactly as they are, to celebrate them, to be devoted, committed, focused, and, you know, purely loving of who they are and everything that they bring to you, without trying to fix or change them in any way. You know, it's perfectly in your divine right to need what you need and to express that. But if that person cannot align with what you need, and you cannot align with what they need, then coming to this beautiful acceptance, place of acceptance and love, and being able to let go, or to allow, you know, to allow somebody to stay if they want to, and they want to keep staying, and to go if there is a misalignment of values or commitments or vision, you know, like higher vision. Because the vision really has to be shared, doesn't it? Whilst interests can be wildly different, if you don't have a commitment in the same direction, it's very hard to find the harmony. And really, truthfully, the only way we can change what we're attracting and meeting with is to change our own point of attraction. So we all know how difficult it is to change ourselves and to make adjustments to patterns. You know, it just is an impossibility, and it is really not your divine truth to change, or theirs, to change somebody else, or even try to change somebody from a position of their personal truth. So, you know, all the time we can change our point of attraction. You know, somebody, people, relationships will always be showing something back to us about a part of us that exists, or something that vibrationally exists in our energetic field. So it's back to this radical honesty and going into that, you know, that Plutonian crypt of your being. Like, what exists in that netherworld, in that dark cabinet that's perhaps been locked for a long time, and like opening that cabinet. And so that once you start to see what's in that cabinet, only then can you start changing that point of attraction. And you can see that so beautifully through the relationships that you have. Like, every single person, the beliefs that they speak about, their values, the way that they're expressing, the emotions that are present in their field at any moment, is going to be showing something back to you about your vibrational position in that moment too, and your truth. So yes, honesty, observing the reflections, this beautiful bodhisattva feminine path of fluidity and sociability and healing through people, and this like constant movement and adjustment. You know, if you can enter into this space of like creativity and no judgment, it's just like, oh, what am I seeing? How am I seeing myself through my relationships? Knowing that that person is essentially me. You know, they're showing something about myself, a part of me that I've neglected, or a belief that I uphold. You know, just really be honest about what they're showing you, and try to resist moving away if the reflection is confrontational or it's discordant in any way, because when there's discord, this is still the mirroring. And the discord occurs because there is this part of you that's present that's been neglected or rejected. And so the discord is showing you what you've rejected, and it's asking you to bring back that part and to own it back into your integrity with love and compassion. You know, to include is to be in harmony with nature, because there is no rejection in nature. So we want to observe these discordances that we see in relationships, or might see. And when there's discordance, not moving away from it, but rather like giving it more love, knowing that it's a part of you, it's an aspect of you that's being shown to you. And as soon as you heal that part, as soon as you reintegrate that part of your being, then you will no longer meet with that discord. The discord will dissipate naturally. So Pluto I call the profound seer. Deep in the dark depths of the solar system, out on a limb, but actually beautifully surrounded by the Kuiper belt, which translates as, the etymology of the word is like the treasury storehouse, the treasury, white pure treasury storehouse belt. So this is really emblematic of this way where when we descend into the depths, we come out, we excavate, we clear out space, and then we're able to shine more of our light and flow and live and rise into abundance and become the abundance that we are by our very birthright. So once we release those limiting beliefs and we change those stories, we change the narrative, we release what's being held in our energetic system, and the way that our nervous system responds and the way that our physical body responds to old memories and pains. Once we release that through loving attention, through the conscious light of our awareness and through movement, you know, there's really very few ailments that can't be healed through somatic movement and breath work and through the conscious light of your attentive awareness. Because in your very attention, intention to look with attention, then something starts to magically, alchemically transform anyway. It happens in the space. The healing is not something you do, it's something you allow. And as soon as you have that intentionality to look, to surrender, to release, then the process of transformation will start to happen, because you're not holding, you know, it's like, this looseness in the body, and then the change can take place. But if you hold, if you're too rigid, like excessive masculine energy, tightness, you know, almost like a cliff face. Imagine like when waves hit a cliff face and it's just hard edge, then there's like this explosive splattering, you know, and you have to be really broken open. You'll meet with harsh masculine energy to release if you don't surrender voluntarily or easily. So it's really actually in your interest to find a way to either supportedly or on your own surrender and release and allow and look at the crypt of your being, go into the darkness, you know, and from the darkness give birth to your light, shine your light into your darkness, and really acknowledging, you know, the great polarities of life and the unification of the light and the dark. And the way that when we meet the extreme of one, then we tip over into the extreme of the other. So if ever you're going through a darkness, then, you know, you're about to shine your most radiant light. You know, the light is about to be born out of this. So Pluto, I'm just hearing, Pluto kind of goes like, what's in your shed, basically? What's in your end of the garden shed? Like, what's in there? Can you go in there and take out what's needing to come out and be shown? This can be gifts as well as old conditionings that need to be transformed. And also comes with this number pattern geometry of like 111, which really is about alchemical change and following the path of your truth and individuality. This is so important with Pluto, because we see Pluto out on a limb. You know, this really is like really a metaphor for the way that we follow the light of our soul, and sometimes this can be very solitary first before we come into our truth of expression, which is then magnetic to other people that are also magnetically in their expression. But first, this requires a real dive and a real exploration, and, you know, really just a curiosity, an open curiosity, because it's always only the story that we apply to a sensation or a feeling or a belief or anything that creates the negative response or the sort of pushing away of it. As soon as we can open the heart space, like whenever we're fully in the heart, we're completely open-minded, open-hearted, non-judgmental. The heart knows nothing of negativity or judgment. It's a cavern of pure compassion, pure openness, and pure vulnerability. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to look there, I'm going to go into my shed, and I'm just going to see what's there, and I'm just going to, you know, just exalt the things that need to be exalted, and, you know, I'm going to choose to express, you know, these traits that I have within me in their most positive expression, and release any beliefs that I've been holding that are not my own. So this is really Pluto, truth to self, truth and beautiful connection between body, mind and soul, and permitting your heart illuminations, like what lights you up, and can you go there? Because this is so inherently, intrinsically connected to your purpose for being. What lights you up is best for the whole planet and all the people that you are destined potentially to come into contact with. Like the more illumined you are, the more magnetic you are, and, you know, then the more of this beauty you can anchor on this incredible planet. So Pluto, profound seer, depths, going deeper, coming out, shining your light into those spaces, removing judgment, honouring the light and the dark, the beautiful polarities that exist within all of creation, that's very natural, and reclaiming all of those parts of you in love and celebrating them, celebrating all aspects of your being as a divine part of this web of creation. So until the next planet in the series, sending you loads of love from me and from the energies of Pluto, and see you in the next episode.